Every gardener eventually faces tired, compacted, or lifeless soil. The first instinct is often to dig, till, or dump in bags of fertilizer, but those methods rarely solve the root problem. They cost energy, time, and money, while often leaving the soil weaker in the long run. The truth is, the soil doesn't need us to constantly force it into shape. It needs us to step back and let natural processes do the heavy lifting. Lazy methods, when applied correctly, can revive soil more effectively than any amount of backbreaking work. These are not shortcuts that cut corners. They are highly effective systems nature has used for centuries, requiring only patience, consistency, and a little strategy. Why lazy soil revival works better than constant labor. When you dig, till, or overwork soil, you disturb the delicate web of fungi, bacteria, and earthworms that create its structure. These organisms are the real engineers of fertility. A lazy approach preserves that life by avoiding constant disruption and focusing on feeding the soil where it stands. Instead of hauling compost piles across the garden or turning beds every season, you let materials break down directly in place. This saves energy while creating deep reservoirs of humus, moisture, and microbial activity. The result is soil that repairs itself and continues to improve year after year. Sheet mulching creates a self-building forest floor. One of the most effective lazy methods for soil revival is sheet mulching. It is nothing more than layering organic material directly on the soil surface, mimicking the way leaves accumulate in a forest. A base layer of cardboard or thick brown paper smothers weeds, cutting off sunlight while holding moisture. On top of that, you layer green material like fresh grass clippings or chopped weeds, followed by a layer of carbon-rich browns such as dry leaves or straw. Each layer feeds a different group of organisms as it breaks down, and within weeks the soil below becomes darker and easier to work. To make this method practical, use a ratio of 2 parts carbon-rich material to 1 part nitrogen-rich material. For example, lay down 1 inch of grass clippings and cover it with 2 inches of leaves. If repeated across the bed through the season, the result is a living mulch system that continuously feeds the soil and eliminates the need for heavy digging. Another lazy but highly effective method is trench composting, also called direct burial. Instead of building a pile and waiting months, you dig a shallow trench about 8 to 12 inches deep and bury raw kitchen scraps directly in it. As the material decomposes underground, it not only feeds soil organisms but also improves structure and moisture retention. Worms are especially attracted to these trenches, and their activity creates channels that aerate the soil naturally. A simple system is to divide a bed into thirds, 1 section for planting, 1 section resting, and 1 section receiving buried scraps. Rotate these sections each season, and in just a year or two the entire bed will be dark, crumbly, and fertile with almost no effort. For every foot of trench, 1 to 2 cups of chopped food waste is plenty. Cover it well with soil to keep pests away, and within weeks the ground will look visibly enriched. For gardeners tired of carrying mulch or compost, cover crops are the lazy solution. Plants like clover, vetch, or lablab do the hard work for you by fixing nitrogen, shading soil, and pumping carbon into the ground through their roots. Instead of pulling them out, the trick is to chop them down at flowering stage and leave the residue as mulch. The roots decompose below, feeding microbes, while the green material on top keeps the surface protected and moist. Even in small gardens, sowing a quick-growing cover crop between main harvests keeps the soil alive. For instance, buckwheat grows in just 4 to 6 weeks and adds organic matter quickly. In larger plots, legumes can restore fertility naturally without a single load of compost hauled across the yard. What makes these lazy methods highly effective is that they don't just add temporary nutrients. They rebuild the foundation of soil fertility by creating humus, improving aeration, and boosting microbial life. While fertilizers may give a short burst of growth, they do nothing to repair structure or water-holding capacity. Lazy soil revival focuses on processes that multiply over time. Sheet mulching creates permanent humus banks, trench composting builds worm populations, cover crops maintain living roots that prevent compaction. Each of these steps requires far less energy than traditional methods while giving back far more to the soil. If your soil feels dead or compacted, start with just one method. Lay down cardboard and cover it with whatever organic matter you have available to launch sheet mulching. Save your kitchen scraps and bury them in trenches along unused rows. If you're between plantings, sow a quick cover crop like buckwheat or clover and let it do the work for you. None of these approaches require constant turning, hauling, or lifting, and yet, if applied consistently, you will see your soil darken, loosen, and revive itself within months. Lazy soil revival isn't about neglect, it's about letting natural systems do what they do best. By applying methods like sheet mulching, trench composting, and cover crops, you save your energy while achieving deeper, longer-lasting fertility. If you're ready to stop fighting with your soil and start letting it rebuild itself, these methods will transform your beds faster than you think. And if this guide gave you new ideas for your own garden, make sure to subscribe to Soil Doctor and share this with other growers who want results without the backbreaking labor.